Hi everyone, it's Tim here, and in today's teaching video I want to share with you one of my favourite all-time pieces around the grade 3 level, and it's called Midnight Ride by Melody Boba. It's in the Piano for Leisure Series 4 books that I put together a few years ago, but you'll also be able to find it online in a number of other collections. So Midnight Ride is in 12/8 and it's in E minor. Now, it's great to play things in 12/8 with students at this sort of level. They may not have had an experience with 12/8 before at all. They've probably played something in 6/8, well, hopefully by 3 or 4 years into their music experience, but maybe not 12/8. And one of the things I love about these compound time signatures is that they've got this kind of rollicking, it's what they write tarantellas always in, isn't it? This rollicking kind of rhythm, Pirates of the Caribbean kind of swashbuckling feel to it. And this piece is exactly like that. So let me play you a little bit of it, and then we'll go through some teaching strategies around it. So here's how it starts. Okay, and so on. It's just got this most fun feeling, and every time I've taught this to a student, they've adored it. It's become one of their favorite pieces. So let's unpack some of the elements of this piece. Left hand to start with doesn't have a whole lot to do. We're just in fifths. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is the pulse we've got going on. So the real challenge is in the right hand, but it's a simple pattern that just repeats up the piano. So we've got this, and then the pattern repeats again. So a great way to practice a piece of music like this, or a pattern like this, is to play it continuously up the piano to get students really used to it. They could play it over a number of octaves instead of exactly as written. We could also introduce some rhythms to it, so or just to get them used to it and to be able to play it really, really freely. Putting that together once they've got the right hand won't be too difficult, because the challenge is in the right hand. If that can almost operate on its own, this will be a piece of cake to put the left hand with. After that first section, we've got the B section. Now in the B section, the left hand finally has a little bit of a challenge, and it takes over a bit of the melodic idea. And then same pattern sequence moved up, and then 2 chords. And I'd be always asking students, what is this chord? What's the key of this piece? We're in E minor. What are the main chords that we're going to be finding in this? We're going to find a lot of the dominant and the subdominant. And the dominant chord of E minor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, is a B chord, often a B major chord. In this case, we don't have the third, so we actually don't know what this chord is. It's a 7, it's a B7 of some sort, with a chromatic scale in the right hand. And at the end, we do get the B major chord for a final perfect cadence. Just going back to this B section though, we've got the right hand playing an E minor and then an A minor chord as the left hand moves from E minor to A minor. So this would be something just to work on, making sure, particularly for students with smaller hands, that they're not trying to reach too far to this note. They can just move their hand across just to keep everything in alignment. Because starting on a 4th finger can be a little bit tricky. So we'll need to work on that a little bit, and then 4 again. Now in the right hand here, we have a chromatic scale. Students at this age should probably be aware of a chromatic scale and the fingering for it. Now it says in the music to start on 2, which I would go with, and then use the standard fingering from then on. For students, again, if they're playing this piece, for warm-ups and just getting their head into things, I would be definitely doing some E minor scale work, and perhaps melodic minor. And definitely chromatic. If not in one hand, then two hands together. Because that's what they're going to have to do here. So rhythmically, da 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 da, and practicing that. I also think I'm a big believer in either vocalizing rhythms or finding words that go along to those kinds of rhythms. Sometimes that can really help. Bum, ba, da, 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 dum, bum. Have you had enough breakfast? I mean, that's just literally off the top of my head. But any sort of phrases that you can think of that help students with rhythm, I think it's great to combine those two elements. So we've got that chromatic. And then the same at the start as at the start. And then we've got this super cool descent, which sounds and looks much more confusing than it is because the hands are crossing over and tumbling down the piano. But it's just a pattern again. Help the students see that it's a pattern, and this will be dead easy for them to learn. So we've got this. So what we can do for these kinds of patterns is just block the chord as a cluster and then move it down to the next cluster and then down again. And then here. And then break it up. And notice that once the right hand is finished, it's starting to move down. Oops. So there's a constant motion of the hands moving down the piano. And that's what we want. We want that fluidity. And definitely using pedal in that section, if not the whole piece. I tend to use a bit of pedal. Pedal, 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 pedal. Pedal, pedal, pedal. In those sections, it's not essential, particularly at this level. Students don't have to be playing with really competent pedaling all through a piece like this, but certainly where it's marked. So for example here, and here. Now, I can't remember if that was my editing when I put this version together or whether that's Melody Boba's original, but that's where I definitely recommend some pedal. All right, so after the B section and the big cascade, we're back to, and it just changes on the second time a little bit. And then we've got another cascading pattern coming down. Now, the rhythm through here may take a little bit of work. Again, you might want to come up with a rhyme or a sentence or something that can help them learn that. Right hand changes fingers as well. 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, and then 1 comes to the A, which is the next note underneath. And then we've got this great fun. And students love learning this. So we've got, and then the same thing. So twice. And again, for this one, you could start up here. You could do, or, oh, sorry, I've just realized the two patterns aren't quite the same. This has caught me out before. First one goes down to B. Second one goes down to C. So just watch out for that one. There's also a trick coming up in this last line, which does this. So the trick here is that the left hand starts with a root 5 octaves, so B, F sharp, B, but the next time and then subsequent times, it's B, F sharp, A to give you the B7 chord. So just watch out for that. For this section here, blocking the two hands, either together or separately, it's definitely the way to go. So you can do this. Then we got C. So here, once they've blocked it, rolling it, moving each hand in turn so it's nice flowing. And then we've got chords, C major, and then we've got E, B, E. And I love helping students come off that last chord with a nice big flourish. heaps of fun to play. I'm sure your students are going to really love it. I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into this wonderful piece, and I do encourage you to try it out. If you're in Australia and you have the Piano for Leisure Series 4 books, and this is in the Grade 3 book, if you're not in Australia, then you will be able to find this publication in lots of her other collections, and maybe even on Sheet Music Direct, I'm not sure. I'm sure we can add some notes to where you might be able to find it. So that's Midnight Ride by Melody Boba. Hope you enjoy that with your students.